What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABC. Super happy to have you guys here. And when you guys are looking for your Airbnb and VRBO content, most of the time you'll come across videos that have all of this fluff to them. They'll tell you all the awesome things about owning Airbnbs, short-term rental properties, that you're going to be able to buy these beautiful vacation homes that you may not otherwise be able to afford. You're going to have all these great guests. You're going to make a lot of money and, make a lot of money. That's usually the end game of all these things. And a lot of times folks just go ahead and gloss over all of the other stuff that goes along with running these businesses, from just how they run, the people that you're going to have to deal with, things breaking down, and just all of really the negatives of running an Airbnb or VRBO short-term rental. So today I'm going to go over a lot of those things, a lot of stuff that people don't hear up front that they end up having to find out the hard way. And so I want to give you guys this before you get into it, if you're considering Airbnb properties, or if you're just out there thinking like, is this normal? And so, today we're going to try to do this in a one-shot fashion. So go ahead and subscribe down below, hit that like button, and we're going to get right into what it means to have an Airbnb or VRBO. Because a lot of folks, they will start looking at these things and they'll start making it extremely personal, especially if this is like your first one. You'll go into a cabin in the woods or a beach home or something, and you'll make it extremely personal, be very cute and exactly how you want it. And people start getting a very personal attachment to each and every one of their properties. And the thing is that if you put something on Airbnb or VRBO, it has gone from being your personal property to investment property. It is now a rental, and it's going to be treated as such. And so there's a lot of things that you need to take into account with that. But the biggest one is that from here on out, this is your money-making machine. It is no longer necessarily your personal little space off in the world. It is your money-making machine, and it needs to be treated as such. So when you guys are looking at these and you're decorating them, make sure that it is durable. The whole, treat it like a rental type of thing is now your cute little property that you have gotten very emotionally attached to, and people just are not going to see it the same way. Things are going to get broken. There's going to be wear and tear. People are going to do things in these places that you may or may not approve of. But again, this is not your personal property anymore. It's investment property. And that is one of the first things that I really need anyone to take into account anytime you take anything that you own and you make it into a rental, be it this, if you do any type of like car rental, like Turo, long-term rentals, if you do tool rental, people are not going to take care of your stuff like you do. And that's something that you need to keep in mind. The next thing that I want to talk about is the guests. These people are the lifeblood of this entire industry. You need the guests to get the money to pay for the property so that you can have them and so you can build the wealth. They pay all of the bills, especially your profit numbers, which is one of the most important bills to pay at the end. Generally, people that get into this business, they only think about these things in terms of revenue, expenses, profit, and they'll get in and do their little spreadsheets and they'll say this, that, and the other thing, but they don't think about having to actually deal with and manage and work with people, guests. If you're in a long-term rentals, tenants, this kind of gets pushed to the wayside versus the numbers. And so you are going to have to deal with people in this business, and they are going to throw out all sorts of stuff. I do a lot of my messaging and such automated for the very common things that happen on a regular basis. Their booking confirmations, check-in, check-out instructions, even some automated responses to things such as requests for early check-ins, things of that nature. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that is not going to be able to be automated. You're going to have to just deal with it on a one-to-one basis. Now, you can, hire folks to take care of this as you get more rentals. But if this is your first or second or third rental, you're going to have to deal with this. And so you're going to get things like people are going to want to check in early. They're going to want to check out late. You're going to have to make decisions on that. Then you're going to have to relay those decisions if you decide to do them with your contractors, like your housekeepers and what have you. And then that's just more people you have to interact with. They're going to ask you, like, how does XYZ work? This isn't hotel rooms that you're going to be renting them. They're not all identical. So each individual house is going to have individual settings or operation for different systems. We have one jacuzzi tub that has a switch on the wall, and then you have to hit a button. I get a question about that every 3 to 6 months, how it works. People are not going to be able to necessarily figure out your TV situation, be it if you have to log in, how you turn it on, how you get the stereo to work with it. These are things that you are going to have to deal with and potentially come up with solutions to, such as like a user guide or a guidebook, so that you can maybe get ahead of these. But even then, people won't read them, and you're still going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with cancellations, and if you are going to give a refund within your no refund window, if something comes up, people oftentimes request that. You're going to have to deal with people that want to extend their stays, and you'll have to move that around in your software. And then sometimes people do bad things. Sometimes they break the rules. Sometimes they break stuff in your places. They might smoke marijuana. They might bring pets. They may bring service animals, which in most cases you have to honor that, even if you are not a pet-friendly place. And in some states, mainly I think New York and California, even emotional support animals, you cannot deny them to bring those. So even if you are a pet-free place, you have to accommodate those folks. And those are just that just really scratches the surface of your interaction that you're going to have with people and guests. And then a lot of times those guest things require other people to be involved, such as contractors and things of the like. The next thing is that you always have to remember that what you are buying is not necessarily a perfect thing. This is a house. This is a building. There will be breakdowns. If there's one thing that I can guarantee you beyond death and taxes, is that there will be breakdowns at your properties, and you are going to have to deal with them, often in a very short period of time, and maybe even with an irate guest on the other end. Just some examples are hot tubs. In the Smokies where I am, we have hot tubs are a very big amenity. They're not horribly complicated, but they're also really not horribly well built, and people do beat the crap out of these things. And this is the way it's going to be for your entire rental, which is why you need to buy durable things, not have a bunch of stuff that is fragile and breakable. But if you have a pool, there's going to be pool breakdowns. The pumps, the heaters, those things tend to go out. You could have problems with any appliance, a stove, a washing machine. Your HVAC may have a problem. The water heaters might have a problem. Water leaks are a big deal. Sometimes they're just minor, sometimes they're big. The point of this entire thing is that you are purchasing a house. And if you live in a house, or if you live in an apartment, if you live indoors, which I would probably guess is the majority of you out there, you all know that things break down in addition to all the normal wear and tear problems that you have just with anything, with furniture, with carpet, with door hinges, light bulbs going out. There's always going to be wear and tear, and in some cases it's accelerated because people are being rough on these things. They are using them like a rental, and so you're going to have to be able to deal with that, have some contacts, have some systems in place, and then you're going to have to go back to that guest interaction and try to work it out with the guests. Now, the fourth big thing that people really don't put out there on their, YouTubes or TikToks or whatever about this, about how great the short-term rental business is that you are going to have to deal with outside agencies, outside contractors. One of the biggest ones you're going to have to deal with is the government. Everywhere that you have one of these things, there is likely to be some sort of government, some sort of oversight. And depending on where you're at, that could be a lot. It might be not very much. But there is definitely going to be things like permits, inspections that you're going to have to do. There's going to be taxes that you're going to have to pay. A lot of times in these touristy areas that the major short-term rental markets are in, like let's say like Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Florida Gulf Coast, Panama City, things like that, there are going to be tourism taxes, and those things will be collected a lot of times by the different platforms. Unless you take direct bookings, then you are going to have to figure those taxes and remit them yourselves. There's going to be licenses that have to be done, and then, if there's any interaction with the police, such as you have a problem at one of your places, there could be repercussions from that. So you're always going to have to deal with those government agencies, permits, taxes, licenses, things of that nature. But the biggest thing that you're going to have to do is work with different contractors, mainly your housekeeper. And a lot of times these can make or break your business based on how well they work. Do they show up on time? Do they do a good job? Do they do things in a timely fashion so things are getting completed? And can you get them there in a hurry if there is a problem? For example, if that HVAC goes down and it's the summertime in the Smokies and it's 92 degrees with 90% humidity, it gets uncomfortable very fast. Flip side, if it's the middle of winter, these things need to be taken care of. And then also, if it's the middle of winter and it's below freezing, you could also end up with a freezing pipe situation. So having these contacts, having good networks that you can go to find these contacts, and then treating them extremely well. If you find good contractors like our housekeepers, we have amazing housekeepers. We pay them well. We're very polite and respectful of them. We're respectful of their time. We make sure that we are not scheduling turns on holidays like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Easter, anything that's important to them. We make sure that we respect their time. We pay them promptly and we pay them well. With all that being said, guys, being in the short-term rental business has been one of the best investments that I've ever made. It makes me more money on the front end, on the cash flow end, and far more money on the equity end as far as note pay down, appreciation, and then I get to shelter all of the income that I make with short-term rentals, as well as shelter some of my active income via material participation in short-term loophole tax strategies, which we can get into on another video if you guys are interested in hearing about that. And so altogether, it is one of the best investments that I've ever done, investing in these 3 short-term rentals that I have right now, and hopefully some more in the future if an opportunity arises. So guys, if you like this video, again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know if you like this one-shot format better than the cut-up, edited type of thing. Click the videos that are on the screen right now. They give you an examples of all the ways that we run our short-term rental business, how we do it from afar, automations, things like that. There's a playlist of all the cabins that we've purchased in the Smokies. It gives tours of each of them and lets you see what exactly that I'm talking about as far as buying the right property in the right area. I appreciate you guys watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.